welcome back to 17 Square Meters Garden. It's the end of September, so it's a great time to start planting spring flowering bulbs. And although I do have already some videos dedicated to that topic on my channel, this video is gonna be a little bit different because I want to show you some very small spring flowering bulbs that might be just the perfect solution if you don't have a lot of room to grow traditional bulbs such as tulips or daffodils. And perhaps you already know some of these bulbs, but I do hope I'll make you discover some new ones, or at least some new varieties of the more popular spring flowering bulbs. I'm going to show you how to plant each of these bulbs and share with you some tips or information that are worth remembering when growing these flowers. And I also want to emphasize that even though these bulbs are very small, because all of them will be below 20 centimeters in height, even though they are very small, they are extremely winter hardy. So if you garden in a very cold climate, you can still successfully plant these bulbs in containers on your balcony or on your patio. So let's begin. Number one on my list is crocus. Crocus is obviously one of the most popular spring flowering bulbs. They are also one of the earliest blooming bulbs. They bloom late winter, early spring, and because they only grow 8 to 20 centimeters tall, depending on the variety, that makes them perfect for small containers, for hanging baskets, for windowsills. They come in a range of colors. You can plant purple crocus, yellow, whites and blues and pinks. So they are really great even if you plant them on their own, like a mix of crocus. But you can also plant them in bulb compositions like bulb lasagnas, or to add a few bulbs to your fall-winter compositions to have some pop of color early in the spring. They will grow pretty much anywhere, even if you plant them on your shady balcony, part shade balcony, or your sunny balcony, they will grow without an issue. So today with me I have two different crocus. I have Crocus Thomasinianus Bars Purple, which is the earliest blooming crocus, and then I have Crocus Joanne Dark, which is a gorgeous, very large white crocus that blooms a little bit later. As I said, there are many crocus to choose from. If you're searching for something more unique, something more special, try growing Crocus sativus. Crocus sativus, first of all, is a very beautiful crocus, very beautiful purple flowers, but then it has those really long, bright orange styles that we pick as a spice saffron. So if you want to grow your own saffron, plant Crocus sativus. Okay, so first of all, I plant all of my spring flowering bulbs in a multi-purpose potting mix with added perlite. Now, the rule of thumb for planting bulbs is to plant them at about 2-3 times their size in depth. So you start with where your soil level will be, and you measure about 3 times their depth. So that's about here. And now, just like with any other bulbs, we plant crocus corms pointy side up. But because they are corms, not true bulbs, it can be tricky to know which side is pointy. First of all, one little indication that you can search for is this area here. These are the previous roots, let's say, that dried up. So this side is pointy. The side here with roots, this one is pointy. But as I said, it can be tricky for a beginner gardener to tell which side should go up, because the risk of planting them upside down is that they will never sprout, they will just grow downwards. So if you are not sure which side is pointy or which side you should plant it, plant them on the side, because this way the bulb will find its way up towards the light. So here is my finished container. As you can see, the bulbs are planted very close to one another but not touching. So now I will just add a layer of potting mix on top. After planting, water your bulbs really well initially, and then you don't have to worry about them during fall and winter. It's not necessary to water them. You start watering them regularly when you start to see those first green leaves pop through the soil. That means that the bulb is actively growing, and then you have to water it regularly. Number 2 on my list is Chinodoxa, and now from a botanical point of view, Chinodoxa has now been added to the genus Scilla. But Scillas are another group of plants that we are going to talk in today's video, and Chinodoxas are still sold as Chinodoxas. So even though they now belong to the same genus, I think it makes sense to make the difference between the two, because from a gardener's point of view, They are sold under different names and they do look a little bit different. So first let's talk about China-doxa. China-doxa is also called Glory of the Snow, and it got its name for a reason. First of all, it's extremely resistant. Like if you grow in a zone 3 or 4, that's a great plant to plant. Also, it blooms early in the year, early enough that you will often see China-doxa flowers pop right through the snow. You can find bluish flowers, you can find pink flowers, white flowers. I usually plant the pink China-doxa on my balcony, a variety called Pink Giant that you can see now on the screen. It has beautiful, large pink flowers. So this year I opted for something different. I have a white China-doxa called China-doxa alba. You can grow them pretty much anywhere. They will grow well in the shade and in full sun. Okay, so China-doxas are really easy to grow, really easy to plant. There is not really much to it. It's pretty straightforward. Mine have some small baby China-doxas on the side, so that's really great. China-doxas are great to keep from year to year because, as you can see, they multiplicate really well. So every year you will have more and more China-doxa flowers. Whichever bulbs you're planting, you want to avoid the bulbs touching the side of the container. Number 3 on my list is muscari, also called grape hyacinths. Muscari have tiny bell-shaped flowers that pollinators absolutely love. Muscaris look great with other bulbs, with other plants in like spring compositions and such. And the most popular is probably Muscari armeniacum, the true blue muscari. But there are also some other gorgeous varieties to choose from. For example, Muscari latifolium that I have with me right here. It's a bicolor muscari. The difference between Muscari armeniacum, so the classic muscari, and for example this latifolium, is that Muscari armeniacum can look a little bit untidy because they have that floppy foliage. So if you grow Muscari armeniacum and they look like they are permanently wilted, that doesn't necessarily mean they are thirsty, they just have that kind of floppy look. And on the contrary, Muscari latifolium has just one single leaf per bulb, and the leaf is very broad and upward facing with that very elegant kind of turn, so they look way more elegant than the floppy Muscari armeniacum. And another interesting variety that I discovered just recently myself is this Muscari Fantasy Creation, which is a double blue muscari. And they start off as this chartreusey green color and they age to that beautiful dark purple. The muscari will grow really well in full sun, in partial shade. I wouldn't necessarily plant it in a full shade. I think it does need just at least those couple of hours of morning sunlight. One important thing to remember is that muscari starts to grow its foliage already in fall. So don't be alarmed when you start to see some muscari leaves popping through the soil a couple of weeks after planting. That's normal, that's perfectly fine, that's what this plant does. It grows its foliage in fall and then it blooms in the spring. So there's nothing to worry about, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to protect them in any way. These plants, they know what they are doing, so it's not like it's gonna die or it's gonna get damaged by frost in winter. So just leave them alone and they will bloom for you in the spring. So now let's plant these, the Fantasy Creation. They are slightly larger in size. I mean, they are significantly larger than the latifolium, as you can see. So we'll plant them a bit deeper and we will not plant as many of them. So I fit 8 bulbs in this container, that's enough. Number 4 on my list is pushkinia. Now, sometimes the smallest plants are actually the toughest, and pushkinia is a great example of that. In its natural habitat, it grows in the mountains of eastern Turkey at an altitude of 3,500 meters. Now, that's pretty impressive if you ask me, and to be able to grow a plant like that on your balcony in the city center, that is really cool. So definitely give a try to pushkinia, especially if you're a fan of true blue flowers, because pushkinia is definitely one of those. It has a very light, delicate blue petals with a darker blue stripe in the center. It is a very small flower. It grows only up to 10 centimeters tall. So it's great for smaller containers or for windowsills, not necessarily for compositions. It grows well in partial shade and in full sun. So let's plant some pushkinia bulbs. I'm choosing a very small terracotta pot because, as I said, these flowers are very, very short, and they're also very dainty. So if you plant them in too large of a container, that will look a little bit odd. Opt for a smaller container and larger amount of bulbs. I'm pushing it to the limits. I really wanted to fit all of my bulbs in this one small pot. There we go. Number 5 on my list is Scilla. Scilla is a classic spring flower. It is a quite large genus of plants. There are many species in this genus. Now, as I said, even Chinodoxa belongs to this genus. So pay attention to the ones you buy, because not all of them are short. Some of them are actually very tall. So for small balconies and for windowsills, opt for those shorter ones like Scilla siberica, which is yet again a true blue flower, which you can see here in the picture. But there are also different colors like Scilla siberica alba, which is the white one here in this mix, and there are also pink ones like Scilla bifolia rosea. Scillas are considered to be woodland plants, so you can plant them successfully even on your full shade balcony. So here, as you can see, the bulbs are two different colors because we have Scilla siberica and Scilla siberica alba. So the darker ones are the blue ones and the white ones obviously are the white flowers. So number 6 on my list is iris, spring flowering iris, Iris reticulata or Iris hystroides. These are pretty much mini versions of the summer flowering irises. They grow only up to 15 centimeters tall. They come in a range of colors. As you can see here, I have two beautiful mixes. They attract pollinators. They will grow pretty much anywhere in the shade, in the sun, and they are also great to keep from year to year. It is starting to rain. I hope I can finish my video before I'm completely soaked. So let's quickly plant these irises. You should space them a little bit further apart because the flowers are wide, so leave them a bit of room, you know, to fully develop and to look to their best potential. So I ended up planting only about 5-6 bulbs per pot, and my containers, I'm planting all of my bulbs in the same containers, but Iris reticulata can be planted in a very shallow container. If you want to create a sort of a centerpiece on the table, you could choose a slightly more shallow and wider pot and plant more of them because they grow really well in shallow pots. Okay, and last but not least is daffodil, the genus Narcissus. There are over 2,600 cultivated varieties to choose from, and they're such a diverse group of plants because you can find daffodils as tall as 80 centimeters or as short as 5 to 10 centimeters. There are yellows and oranges and whites and pinks, double blooms, single blooms, several blooms per bloomstalk, single bloom per bloomstalk, scented, without fragrance. I think that anyone can find a daffodil that they like, and in my opinion they are the easiest and the most reliable bulbs to grow in containers. They come back very well from year to year, so you can keep your daffodil bulbs. This is exactly what I did here. As you can see, I have some of my favorites because they come back really well from year to year. They naturalize really well. So in today's episode, I want to highlight some of my favorites, those that are really short and suitable for tiny balconies and for windowsills. Okay, so first, dwarf daffodil variety is actually one of the most known daffodils. I think that many of you have grown them already. They are called tête-à-tête, which in French means head to head, and that kind of represents their growing habit. They grow only to about 15 centimeters tall. They are golden yellow, and one bulb can produce up to 3 flowers, so that's why they are really head to head. And another daffodil variety that is worth mentioning is the one that I have right here. It is Rip van Winkle. They look unlike any other daffodil with their multi-petaled flower heads. They look very unique and they don't look like daffodils at all. They grow only up to 15 centimeters tall, and they are best planted underplanted with some other plants because they tend to be a little bit floppy. Planting daffodils is exactly the same as planting any other bulb, but something I wanted to show you, as I said, daffodil bulbs reproduce really well, they naturalize really well. So oftentimes when you dig them up in the spring, which is an option, I sometimes leave my daffodils permanently in containers and then I plant something on top of them. Sorry, there is a storm right now, but let's finish this video. So as I was saying, daffodils produce little bulblets on the side. So when you dig them up, you can just pull them apart, and this way you have 3 new bulbs. You don't have to pull them apart, but if you prefer, you can pull them apart. I'm planting them slightly deeper because they are a bit larger than the rest of the bulbs. And then we'll just cover them with soil, water them, and they will bloom in the spring. And as I said, with daffodils I oftentimes leave them in containers permanently and then plant summer flowers on top of them. That works really well. The bulbs don't rot. I have multiple videos dedicated to that topic. I have videos about spring bulbs aftercare where you can find a little bit more information on that. Okay, you guys, so these are all the bulbs that I wanted to talk about in today's video. Obviously, there are many more small bulbs that you could choose, that you could plant on your balcony garden. Some of these bulbs I didn't mention on purpose because I find them to be either a little bit more tricky to grow, or I don't find them to be the best choice for containers. Just wanted to share with you some that are the easiest, the best for beginner gardeners, and some that are my own personal favorites. Hope you enjoyed this video, hope you found some inspirations for your own balcony garden. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next Saturday. Bye!